Hi everybody, I'm immigration attorney John Khosravi. Thank you for joining us today. This Wednesday, June 3rd. As always, I got to double check what the date is. It is June 3rd, 2020, 5 p.m. Pacific time. Thank you for joining live. As always, we're on not Instagram, but as always on TikTok, Immigration Lawyer John, that's John. And today we're doing a special on YouTube. The camera isn't set up well, so you're going to see me facing up from the bottom right here if you're on YouTube Live. This is going to be recorded, and a better edited version is going to be put on YouTube so you can catch it later, along with clips, top questions and answers that are going to be put all over the social media pages for JQK Law Firm, my law firm, on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and all those. And you could always just join right here on TikTok and ask questions. If you're on YouTube, you're joining us, we got a new large group joining. Just come there and we'll try to do our best to answer your immigration questions. As always, I got to say that this is just general education only. It's not intended for individual legal advice. You should consult with attorney in private about that. But let's talk about it, see if we can help people on different things. And I'll start with talking about one topic. But before that, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you can get updates on the best and newest information related to U.S. immigration law, which is where I focus on, and my my whole career is on. I love it. So with that, let's get it started. So while people are trickling in and questions are about to start coming in, I want to mention one issue that's happening. So there's a lot of different travel bans that President Trump has put into place. Every week it seems there's a new one, or even every couple of days. One of the main ones is from Europe, where people from Europe can't come to the United States if they've been to the Schengen countries. These are the countries who are part of the European Union. They're not allowed to come into the United States if they've been visiting those countries last 2 weeks. And it could be any person. If you're from Mexico and you go to France for a vacation, you have to wait 2 weeks, leave the European Union, wait 2 weeks, then come to the United States. So we have people who get their green card approved from the embassy. They want to come to the United States. They can't if they're from one of those countries, or that's the laws, is they can. But a lot of times the airlines that are going to bring you here don't understand the law. So I have like a client from Bulgaria, which is not part of the European Union, is in Europe. That person wanted to fly to the United States, and the airline will not let them board because they feared that these people were subject to the travel ban. Sorry, let me check something out really quick. Okay, all good. So they feared that these people were subject to the travel ban, so they wouldn't let them on the plane. So all of a sudden they were scared, and I said, okay, you got to go to some other country or talk with the airline to try to figure this out, talk to a manager, because they're incorrect. Now, the airlines have a system set up with U.S. immigration authorities so that they could let people come when these mistakes happen, to kind of rectify it and help the airlines better understand what the issue is. It's called the Regional Carrier Liaison Program. It's a special phone number where the airline can just call and ask the U.S. port authorities to get permission for someone to come. But in practice, even though they pay for this system and it exists and there's employees waiting to take those phone calls, they don't call. And so that becomes a problem. There's no real way to fix it because they don't do what they're supposed to do. So you just got to kind of argue with them, try again, waste a lot of money on tickets until something works out. Another thing to be mindful of is that when a person comes to the United States, let's say they're not from one of the COVID-19 travel ban countries, they should not have a stop in one of those countries that is subject to the COVID-19 travel ban. So if you're from Turkey and you come to the United States and there's a stop in Amsterdam, once you sit in Amsterdam, even in transit, that could hit you and cause you to not be denied entry into the United States. So you got to be very careful with these travel bans. Have a lawyer on hand. Hopefully you have a lawyer in the process to go through your history, see what's going on. But even with that, mistakes can be made by the airlines. So be very careful and be prepared for that kind of stuff. So I am doing this on YouTube. Unfortunately, the angle of this YouTube screen is not really good. But we're going to fix that up next time. But thank you all for watching and bearing with me on YouTube. Thank you, Upload. Thanks for joining. So we had a couple of questions on TikTok. Let me see what those were. Ooh, we got a lot of people joining. Well, thank you. Okay, so the twin asks, can those from U.S. visit Europe? Going to Europe has not been banned, so I don't see why not. But I'm a U.S. immigration attorney, so I don't give advice on what European immigration laws are. I would suggest you contact with the European authorities on visiting Europe. Carrie asks, thank you for always. You're welcome. I appreciate that. Naz Muhammad, how are you? I'm doing good. Thank you. Zind asks, I applied for my husband, and I'm a green card holder, and now I applied for citizenship. Well, that's great. Whenever you do get citizenship, if your case is still pending, notify the National Visa Center or USCIS, depending on where the case is, to let them know that you have upgraded to U.S. citizenship status. I hope you get that. But that's about it. There's only small things that would potentially affect the case or make a difference nowadays. but it depends on your specific case. So this is such a unique question to see if certain exceptions that could affect your case apply to you. I recommend consulting with an attorney in private for better help on that issue. Okay, so let's go to the next question. If you're on YouTube, feel free to ask questions. Zing asks, is it effective way of a pet? Yeah, it can affect it, but it depends on your whole situation. When you are a green card holder, you apply for a spouse for their green card, and then you become a U.S. citizen. There are some nuances, but it's too unique for me to go into here. Kashi asks, I'm here on a visitor visa. Can I adjust my visa status? Well, adjusting your visa status means applying for a green card. Now, whether you could apply for a green card really depends on all the facts related to your specific and unique case. So I don't have an answer for that. I need to know your background and see what's going on to see if that applies to you. So what I'd recommend doing is scheduling a private consultation with a lawyer and seeing what's going on. If you want to contact my office, my email is info@jqqlaw.com. There is a consultation fee, but email me, briefly describe what the immigration issue is. If you want to set up a consultation, and based on that, I'll know whether a 30-minute, 1 hour, or longer consultation is needed, and then how much that initial review costs. Okay, so Invisible asks, only marriage certificate, papers not filed due to the virus. What is the status for that person? Whatever status they had, the marriage itself. So let's say someone's foreign here in the United States. They get married to an American. That has no bearing, no effect, zero on immigration status. That's nothing to do with immigration. Marriage is marriage. Until you get some paperwork started, even if you file the paperwork, there's no status. But once you get the paperwork started and it's approved, that's when your status changes. So just by getting married, it doesn't mean anything. It's a good step towards getting things done, but on its own, marriage does not affect the case. Paulus asks, are the consulates in Mexico open? Well, you can always just check with the embassy website that you're looking for. Right now, almost all embassies and consulates are closed, but if you want information on that, just go to the U.S. Embassy's website in that country, and they'll fill you in on what's going on, and you can always try contacting them directly for information on that. Okay, Prash asks, I got an RFE. An RFE is a request for evidence. This is when you submit documents to USCIS, the Immigration Department, and they have issues with it. They want more paperwork, they want clarification or something like that. So Prash asks, I got an RFE and I submitted it, and it got updated. They received my RFE, and it's been 3 months. So how long? There is no deadline for how long it takes for the government to respond. Once you send them documents or once you respond to an RFE, they take their time. So there's no timeline. You just have to be patient. If you feel it's getting too long, or if it's many, many months, you try contacting them by phone or mailing them or something like that. Maybe that'll affect it, but they don't have any responsibility to go on any timeline. It's up to them when they want to make a decision. If you get really frustrated, you could file a lawsuit and do something like that. That might be something. Warwick asks, after administrative processing, they request another medical exam because it's been almost a year. So when someone goes and does an immigrant visa interview at a U.S. embassy to get a green card, as part of that, they have to do a medical checkup by a panel physician. Some people, you do the medical checkup right before you interview. You go there, and many times you get your visa approved right there within the next couple of days, and you come to the United States. However, there's some cases where the embassy says we need to do more research or review of your case, and they put your case in what's called administrative processing. And sometimes administrative processing could take 6 months, a year, 2 years, a long time. Because it's pending so long, the medical certificate, the medical checkup you got expires. And if it expires, you will have to get a new one. So eventually, after administrative processing is complete, the embassy contacts you and said, actually, we're going to issue the visa, everything is good, come and send your passport to us. But also, because it's been more than 6 months since your last medical, you will need to do a new one to check to make sure you don't have any major diseases, tuberculosis, gonorrhea, syphilis, or things that could be contagious and the U.S. has problems with. So in your case, it's been a year of administrative processing. Your medical report is expired. You have to pay and do a new one, unfortunately. That's just how the rules work. I'm sorry I have to go through that. Nava asks, hello, I'm a USA citizen and I applied for my wife. I got a receipt 2 months ago. How long to get approved? Well, go to USCIS.gov. There's a case processing timeline system they have set up there. Click on the I-130 petition that you did and then specify which service center had it, and there'll be various different timelines depending on which service center you had. There's no exact answer I can give you without knowing your information, and also the timelines are extremely unreliable. What I always tell people is just be patient. That's the best you could ask for. Zindag asks, will immigration open tomorrow? Well, I did a video on this on YouTube and stuff like that on TikTok. But the short of it is they're starting to open tomorrow. It doesn't mean it's all going to open up. They are handling cases, are accepting cases. When you talk about opening up, that means in-person interactive interviews. And so they'll start doing that tomorrow, but it's not a full-blown thing. It's a step-by-step measure that they're going through. So we have a YouTube question. Safi Darbo asks, hi, what happens after your VAWA approved? What's next? Well, I'm really sorry, Safi, but I do not handle VAWA cases, so I'm not a good resource on that. I'd recommend consulting with another attorney that does humanitarian cases like VAWA. I don't do asylum or VAWA and stuff like that. I focuses on people getting married or people starting businesses in the United States. I know the process of a lot of stuff, but I don't like commenting on stuff I don't do on a day-to-day basis. I always think it's good to go to an expert to talk with something like that. Family asks, well, my interview date is scheduled this month. You got a lot of typos in there, but whenever the immigration, so in this case, family had an interview that was canceled due to coronavirus, and they're asking, will my interview be scheduled this month? It's up to USCIS. Whenever they get around to schedule your interview, they will. You have to be patient. I don't have any control, and nobody has any special information to guide you on that. It's really a case-by-case basis that you have to be patient about and just be there with. So there's no answer to the question you're asking. Okay, Wardock says administrative processing almost done. Okay, you already answered that question. Passport with them. Okay. RSL asks, are K1 visas affected by the situation, or will they start processing them as well? So K1, so when you start a K1 visa, K1 is a fiancé visa. You can do the I-129F, the initial petition to prove that you're really in a relationship, you're really engaged. That goes on. Eventually, they set up an interview time at your local embassy. The problem now is with the recent COVID-19 travel ban, it seems like K1 people, K1 visa holders or applicants are affected by that. Now, up until now, the embassies haven't shut down, so we don't have clear examples of things happening or not happening because they're all closed, so we don't know. However, a colleague of mine was contacted with one embassy, and they said we do not accept K1 visas at this time. They're subject to the travel ban, so they're going to have to wait. So it looks like it's that way. I only have one example a colleague told me about, but the embassies are closed right now anyway. But what I recommend for you is have the paperwork ready, the I-134, other documents needed for the embassy for doing the visa interview, and just wait for them to open it up or notify you. Check their website constantly, check to see what's going on. And take it from there. But probably it's affected by the immigrant visa coronavirus ban that did. But it's not clear. You know, the K1 fiancé visa is a non-immigrant visa. And the travel ban that President Trump put recently is against immigrant visa holders, those people coming here permanently. So it would seem that the K1 visa would not be subject to that. However, one embassy, again, told my colleague, so it's hearsay, but told my colleague that they're considering K1 visas as immigrant visas and such subject to the travel ban for immigrant visa. So it's a messed up situation. They turn the laws the way they want to do it, but that's how it looks like. But because we don't have examples, the embassies have been shut down, I can't say for 100%, but it looks like you're affected and you'll have to wait a little bit longer for things to start opening up. Giovanna asks, do you have to sponsor when applying for my husband? Do you have to sponsor? So every time a person submits an I-130 petition for a foreign alien relative, whether they make enough money or not, they will have to submit an affidavit of support, financial sponsorship. And if they don't make enough money, then they'll have to get a joint sponsor unless the foreign person has so much money that they could prove they're financially sound. But you will have to, as being the I-130 petitioner, always sign an I-64 and be a financial sponsor, be on the hook financially, whether you make enough money or you don't. Khan asks, how long does it take for a B1, B2 visa extension? There is no fixed timeline. It takes however long the officer wants it to take. Okay, Faisal asks, I applied for I-751 in November 27, 2017, but still have not heard from USCIS. Please give me a reply. Well, that's a situation right there. From I-751 is removal of conditions. These are people who married Americans and got their own green card. And that initial green card is valid for 2 years. This is because their marriage was new. And at the 2-year mark, they have to apply another application to again prove that the relationship was bona fide, as a real relationship, wasn't fake. Usually these take between 1 to 2 years nowadays. If your case has been pending since November 27, 2017, there are probably issues with your case. You should definitely consult with an immigration 2 or 3 to review what you submitted, see what's going on, start contacting USCIS and bolstering your case, because there's a problem. They might have doubt into your relationship. They may be doing investigations into your relationship, so that's a big scare. Probably that's the issue, but sometimes they just lose the file and forget about it too. So it could be a lot of things, but it's not normal for an I-751 to be pending for more than 2 years. So I would definitely look into it to try to find out what's going on and be prepared for the worst. If an interview happens or they want to send a notice of intent to deny, you really should consult with an attorney or attorneys in private to review your case and your situation. My Digger asks, how long is the asylum backlog now, please? The U.S. has multiple asylum offices all across America, and each one has their own timeline. And some of them will adjudicate a new asylum case within a few weeks or a month, and some of them will take 3 years. Like, person A could submit an asylum application to the Los Angeles office, or it's in Anaheim, and person B could send it on the same day. They both send it, they go to the post office and they mail in their asylum application at the exact same time. One of them gets an interview after 5 weeks, one of them gets an interview 3 years later. So when you ask me how long the backlog and how long time is, it doesn't really matter. You just need to be patient. We have no control of this situation. Just be patient. Sorry. I get a lot of these questions about timelines, and the answer is always the same. There's no answer. Just be patient. Vince will ask, is it really important to have a joint bank account for a couple? So when you are doing a marriage-based case, you need to show that your relationship is real, and there's various ways to do that. So one of the ways is, having a joint bank account with money in it, and it's an account that's used. And it's not mandatory that you have it. It's good that you have it. It's a thing, but there's other ways to prove a relationship, and that's part of the things we work on when I handle a case to see what other things to do. Not every person has a joint bank account with their spouse. And that's normal nowadays. But USCIS is still old school. It's a positive indicator, but there's other things you could do to prove our relationship. So you really should consult with an attorney. Have probably one if finances it's expensive, but to help have that and prepare other things to avoid having doubt as to your bona fide relationship in your I-130 petition. Arif asks, can we ask USCIS to expedite on humanitarian basis due to COVID-19 hardships? You can always make a request from USCIS to do something. Now, everybody has COVID-19 hardships, so how are they going to be able to differentiate? I don't know. I don't think it's a strong case unless you have specific things, but if you're really worried about it, give it a shot. It is what it is. And then we'll see what happens. Maybe it gets approved. Maybe you get lucky. That's all I can say. Darmic asks, now after the immigration got open, how long it's gonna take the work permit in asylum case. Again, there's no timelines as to asylum work permits and stuff like that. Immigration office opening up is unrelated to the work permit. Work permit was processing. People were getting work permits as it was happening. It was just in-person interviews that were not happening. So USCIS is reopening interactive in-person stuff tomorrow. Has no bearing on the application and processing of an employment authorization document or work permit. So it is what it is. You just have to be patient. Try to go to USCIS.gov and check out their timelines for case processing for EADs from I-765. And if it's longer than, it's been longer than what they have listed there, try giving me a call and say, hey, what's going on? It's taking too long. Or they have an online option to complain about things taking too long as well. Shirley asks, how can I apply for my green card for my mother? Well, there's a lot of stuff we got to analyze for that. The basics is that you have to be a U.S. citizen and you submit Form I-130 to get it started. And depending on whether your mother's in the U.S. or outside, you do adjustment of status or constant processing. But that's a general thing. There's a million and one things I need to know about you and your family, your mother, your finances, your health, all this kind of stuff that has to be analyzed first. Your mother's immigration history, criminal history, your own past. It started technically as Form I-130. But I wouldn't just go by what I'm saying here. You should consult an attorney in private to review it. There's tons and thousands of blogs and thousands of videos that break everything down in detail. So I would say go to those. If it's a long explanation, we can't do here on a quick live chat like this. But if you want to consult with my office, please email me at info@jqqlaw.com. We'll schedule a consultation. There is a fee for that, but email me and I'll let you know how much it will cost and we'll take it from there. Anna Krista asks, I sent my removal of conditions from I-751 and they received it on the 15th of May. How long till I get an answer? Go to USCIS.gov, put in your receipt information, the type of case it is, the service center, and see what it tells you there. Invisible asks, will you take my marriage green card case in Massachusetts? I have handled a case in Massachusetts. It depends. Just email me. We'll have an initial consultation. Marriage green card cases have an interview. So being in Massachusetts, it's not always easy for me to come there. And usually I would not come to the interview. But most of the cases I handle don't require an attorney to be there. It's good to be there, but it's not required. So I can handle your case if needed. I can have a colleague go to the interview with you. But I really need to do an initial consultation first to see what issues exist. If there's major stuff that exists as problematic, I would say, okay, it's better to hire local counsel. So it's up to you. We need to do that initial consultation first. There is a fee, but email me at info@jqqlaw.com, CC your fiance or spouse, and we'll do a video consultation and just break down all the parts of your case so I can try to identify any potential issues. That's the main thing I gotta do first. It's like going to the doctor, they check you out. And you're like, doctor, am I healthy? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I gotta, test your blood, test your urine. You know how they hit your knee and it pops up, and they take your heartbeat and they put the hand on your, and see how you're breathing, all this kind of stuff. I gotta do the same to check out everything to see if there's loose ends, if there's red flags. And then once I have all that, I can have a better picture and I can let you know what's going on in your case and if I can handle it, if I can accept it or not. But I do cases in Massachusetts all the time, New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, Florida, Texas. I handle cases all over the country, luckily. So it's a great practice and I could handle it. But again, I need to have that consultation to check you out first. All right, RFK asks, how long will it take to schedule biometrics for M400? There is no timeline how long it takes. Margaret, you're welcome. Ashley asks, how long does F2B take? Mother applied but haven't heard anything. Go to USCIS.gov to check on I-130 processing times. For visa processing, consular processing, go to the visa bulletin and use your priority date. If you want explanation of what all that means and how to do it, you have to schedule a consultation. I just get asked this question like 20 times every live. I just can't repeat it. But just schedule a consultation if you want to talk about it, or visit USCIS.gov or the visa bulletin for the Department of State, depending on where your case is in the process. Cheryl asks, could you repeat my email? Sure. My email is info@jqqlaw.com. I-N as in Nancy, F-O, the @ symbol. My initials, J like Jack, Q like Queen, K like King, law, L-A-W.com. So info@jqqlaw.com. If you're on TikTok, just go to my profile page, click on that link there. It's a link tree, and it has access to all my various information, my website, my Yelp page that has my reviews, my Avvo page, my newsletter, Instagram. Go there and subscribe to all of it to get more information about kind of work I do, about my background, as well as samples of approvals I have with show timelines of how. I know if timelines are so important, that'll give you an idea of how different timelines have worked, but they're just not consistent. So I don't like talking about timelines because it's all over the place. Hayat John asks, hello, my daughter is in Afghanistan and I have a green card. Can I invite her to come to some info, please? There's no inviting. If your daughter wants to come and visit the United States as a tourist, she needs to apply at the U.S. Embassy or consulate in Afghanistan and request a visit here. Most likely it's going to be denied, but she could always give it a shot. If you want to get her a green card, you could apply for her if she's single. A green card holder cannot apply for a married child's green card. It has to be a single child unless you become a U.S. citizen. That's going to take many years. But that's a short answer to what you're asking. If you want more information, we need to schedule a consultation to talk about it with you and your daughter to see the whole picture and give you a detailed advice as to what the situation is. Jitan, thank you. I'm doing well. So Dharma asks, sir, last month I send my work permit asylum application, how long it takes from New York. I answered this already. There is no how long it takes from New York. Try going to USCIS.gov and putting your information in the case processing timeline situation they have there and see what they say, but note that it's not reliable. But give it a shot. That's the best place to answer, and not here. USCIS.gov is the person I can answer on that. So yeah, we had a blast of questions. It was like nonstop. Well, thank you so much. It's been a hot day, in Los Angeles. I'll be honest. I just got back from the beach right now, so I'm kind of hot. I had to go jump in the shower, come do this video. I thought I'd take the kids out. We went on the weekend to the beach, and it was so busy in Los Angeles, we could not even find parking. So we're like, okay, let's set out a date in the middle of the week where no one's there, and we went. It's hard with little kids going to the beach. They want to run up here, run up there. It was a mess. But we did it, and they enjoyed themselves, and now I'm back here with y'all. Just feeling a little hot, though. You're welcome, Dharmic. Donya asks, can you cover the cause on different city? I think you're saying, can you do a case in a different city? I do, as I was talking about earlier, I do cases all the time. I don't travel to Washington State anymore. I used to. Part of my family used to live in Washington State in Bellevue. So actually, I used to fly over to Bellevue all the time. But I don't have, unless it's a big reason, I don't go to the case, but I still handle cases in Washington State regularly, a couple a year. It's just not required for me to be there or to fly out there. I handle a lot of marriage cases over there. The interview's done at next to the airport. What do they call that? SeaTac, it's close to SeaTac. So yeah, if it's a Washington State case, I can do it. Again, I can take cases from all across the country. Ashley says, I live in New York and it's cold. Enjoy the beach. Thank you so much. Yeah, New York has got its own beauty to it, but the cold and all the craziness of it makes it bad. LA has a craziness too. We're going through a mess right here, but we do have the beautiful beach, which I rarely take advantage of. I'm like, we live here in Los Angeles with my family, and we rarely ever go to the beach. Why don't we take advantage and do it today? I think I don't know if the color of the phone is bad or what, but I got a tan, so I got a little burn out there. But I appreciate it. So we're nearing the end of today's program. A couple more minutes left. If you have some last minute questions, just throw them out there. We'll get to them. If it's about timelines, go to USCIS.gov. They can answer you better than I can. But if it's other kind of factual kind of questions that are legalese, not just technical about timelines, please let me know, and I can try to do my best to answer them here. And if you haven't already, you're watching on TikTok, please go to the profile page and subscribe and follow, and so we get this group bigger, more information. Donia says, you're the best. Thank you for coming and talking. I appreciate that, Donia. What city are you in yourself, and what kind of immigration case generally are you dealing with? But thank you for the kind words, and thank you for everyone on YouTube joining too. It was special having you here. This live is happening on YouTube, but I'm going to delete this and have the edited one where I'm looking directly at the camera instead of looking down at you guys looking up at me like this. Next time I'm going to have a better setup next Wednesday. Just to give you a heads up, the TikTok live is here every Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 5:30 Pacific. But I switch it off between Instagram Live, between Facebook Live, between YouTube Live, and other lives and stuff like that on my second camera. And those are various days of the week that it's there. Eventually, it's like Monday is Facebook, Tuesday Instagram, Wednesday YouTube, and then probably Thursday Instagram, Friday again YouTube or something like or Facebook. I want to add LinkedIn and Twitter there, but I'll figure out how to do that. Hi, John asks, I'm waiting for my husband's interview. When is the immigration going to open? Whenever they get around to it. So be patient. There's no timelines that anyone could tell you. You'll just wait. You'll get a notification in the mail, and hopefully you'll get it going, and that'll be it. But again, there's no timelines, as I've mentioned about like 30 times already. I know you probably just came in on this live new, but I know it's a big worry. Everyone asks that question every day, every Monday through Friday when I'm here. But either visit USCIS.gov about timelines. With regards to when interviews are going to happen, that's up to the administration and the Immigration Department, the Department of State, the Department of Homeland Security. I'm not any one of those, and even they don't know when it's going to happen because it's the coronavirus. And so who knows what is going to happen with the coronavirus, They're telling us to wear masks. I hate wearing masks when I go out. I can't breathe with them, but that's what you have to do. So whenever they say you take the masks off, that's when you'll know. Givenchy asks, how much does it cost to apply for a green card for my husband? A green card process is more complicated and there's more issues involved. So it's not a thing. It's not like going to buy a bag of cheese or something like that, or chips. So it's not like this much money. It depends on what kind of green card application it is, what your status is, your spouse, if you need extra joint sponsors, there's so many different things we got to look at in there to get a price. That it's not that. There are lawyers who have fixed price who just tell you that, but honestly, I don't think that's a good way to go about it because they're probably just overcharging you. If I was going to create one fixed price for all cases, I just pick the highest price there is because you never know how much cases are. So I really like to specialize the price and make it appropriate for what services you need. Tarsem asks, U visa approval chance after 5 years. I don't talk about chances. It's not a gambling here. I need to know your case and stuff before I can talk about it. So definitely, I don't even do U visas, but consult with the lawyer. Don't try to go for chances. Try to have somebody to review your case and know you. It's like saying, what are the chances of me having cancer right now? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I have to check you out. I can't just guess something like that. Donia says, I live in Texas. My husband is in Afghanistan. So Afghanistan is a hard case. They hassle the hell out of people in Afghanistan for cases, especially marriage cases. I have a colleague in San Diego who's from Afghanistan, does a lot of these. He constantly has to file lawsuits against the U.S. Embassy in Afghanistan and the Department of State to force them to make decisions on cases they don't make decisions on. Especially because your husband overseas, not a wife, it's a man. You're going to deal with issues, so be prepared for that. These kind of stuff pop up. Farhad says, I'm scheduled for an interview to remove 2 years condition. It should be interview or not this time. Your question doesn't make sense. So you may have an interview, may not. If you do have an interview, have a lawyer with you. Usually if the case is well done, an interview is not needed. So I would be worried a little bit. Not too worried, but just be prepared. Depends on the facts of your case. All right, so we're about the end of today's show. Thank you everyone for joining. Again, I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. I'm from the JQK Law Firm, or JK Law Corporation. That's my technical company name. I love handling people's cases who are getting married and starting their families here, people investing and starting businesses. That's just my focus, but I I teach immigration law at law schools, and I train immigration lawyers, so I have an idea of everything, but I like to focus on those areas. Thank you everyone for joining today, and the recording of this is going to be up on YouTube in a day or two. You can catch the other lives on YouTube, as well as clips with really key information that comes up that people ask you, and I put it out there. Thank you all so much for joining today. Please join us again tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific, where we will get into it again and ask more questions. But that's it for today. Again, 5 p.m. Pacific. We're going to be on TikTok as always. And then tomorrow being Thursday, we're going to be is that an Instagram day? Let's just do Instagram tomorrow on Thursday, and then we'll just keep this live. Thank you everyone on YouTube for joining. I'm going to do more of YouTube Live on Wednesdays as well. And again, you can catch the videos on YouTube. You can catch clips on Instagram, on LinkedIn. Just connect with me all these places, and we'll take it from there. God bless everyone. Be safe, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.